California now requires instant and online applications for solar permits for residential systems. 1 in 10 schools in the U.S. have recently installed solar at their facilities, and the storage market in the U.S. is set to expand dramatically, in fact, a 4-fold increase over the next 2 years. I'm Jay Warmke with Blue Rock Station, and this is the news from the solar industry for the week of September 11th. Now, as a sign of things to come, California has recently passed Senate Bill 379. It was signed into law just recently, and it does require that all residential solar projects, that the application or the permitting process must be done instantly and online. Now, what this is trying to deal with is the fact that the permitting process often takes a great deal of time, slows down the whole process. In fact, as you can see by that chart right there, that it can take as much as, for instance, in Tucson, Arizona, they found it was taking 24 business days to go through the process of approving a permit. Now, with the use of applications like Solar App Plus, which is a free program that has been developed that allows for cities to use this to simply approve instantly. As long as the application meets all of the guidelines of the system, then the installer will get an approval right on the spot as soon as they finish, as soon as they hit send, I guess. All right, another sign of the times, we're starting to see companies such as pvmet announce that they've expanded their market products of microclimate monitoring systems. These systems are designed to attach to commercial and utility scale solar arrays so that it provides the developer and the person that's monitoring the system with real-world, up-to-date data about the climate so that they can see how the system is performing under various conditions and perhaps head off some maintenance issues as they evolve. A recent study by Generation 180, which is a green energy advocacy group, has found that 10% of all of the K through 12 schools in the United States have installed solar on their facilities since 2015. Now, this does represent about 8,400 schools across the nation with a total student population of over 6 million. So we're starting to see a lot of solar installed in institutions such as our schools. And of course, with the new legislation from the Inflation Reduction Act, nonprofits will be able to get money back on their solar projects. So we'll probably see quite a few more. A Dronebase company, in fact, its company name is called Dronebase, has announced the first standardized solar asset rating system. Now, it's kind of like a letter grade like you would receive in school for focused on 3 areas of concern using drones to monitor and evaluate these systems. They're looking at the evaluation of power loss, module condition, and cell temperatures. Now, all of these are things that affect the output. For example, you would receive an A on your installation if there was less than 0.5% of hot cells or hot spots on the array. You'd get a D if there were more than 2.5%. So they're hoping that this kind of system will be will anticipate the fact that a lot of installers are hoping to show that their system is in fact quality installation, and investors and financiers can use this when they're evaluating programs to invest in. Now, a recent forecast by Wood Mackenzie projects a 4-fold increase in the amount of batteries that will be installed. And this is largely, in fact, due to the standalone battery provision of the Inflation Reduction Act, where you can receive tax credits for systems, even if they don't include wind or solar as part of it. So, for example, in 2022, we're expecting to install about 13.5 gigawatt hours of battery storage connected to the grid. And in just over 2 years, we'll be looking at over 45 gigawatt hours installed that will be connected to the grid as far as battery backup. There are headwinds against this program. Of course, a lot of the lithium that's used and a lot of the manufacturing capacity is in the Uyghur area of China. And there is the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, where anyone purchasing products from that region has to show that nowhere along the process was essentially forced labor or slave labor used as part of this process. And that's the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you next week.